What is going on, everybody? Isaac from the Movement Podcast. I'm doing a little solo potty today on a product, and I'll be honest, I feel like I've recorded and deleted this episode like 15 times because it's fairly controversial. Like, I think, there's some people with strong opinions on either side, and the product is Ozempic, or, there's some other GLP-1s out there as well, and it's really marketed as a drug for adults with type 2 diabetes. But what the media is making it out to be is that this is very much like a weight loss drug. And just to get it out there, like, it definitely does help with weight loss. I'm not going to try to say it doesn't. The other thing that I'll say right away is I don't think that we need to demonize people that are on Ozempic or thinking about going on Ozempic. I've worked with some clients that are on Ozempic. Or I work with some clients that are on Ozempic. I work with some clients that have been on Ozempic and then get off of it just because they've had some weird side effects. And then I have some people that are thinking about it. So at the end of the day, what's most important is what you and your doctor discuss. And if they think that this is the best course of action for you, then by all means, I fully support that decision. That being said, what concerns me more is how the media is very much portraying this as like, hey, this is the easy weight loss solution. Like, just, if you got to lose weight, do this. It's the easiest thing to do. Sure, it's going to help you lose weight. But the bigger issue is it doesn't necessarily fix some of the underlying problems as to why you may have gained that weight. And Ozempic kind of makes that clear on their website as well. They really say, like, if you are going to be doing something like this, it is best to pair this with a lifestyle change when it comes to nutrition, as well as a focus on fitness. So that is why I'm not this like crazy gym owner that's like, hey, no, you need to focus on losing weight the good old fashioned way, because a product like this is probably here to stay. So rather than demonizing it, it's like, well, how can we work with it? And I do think that there is a way that we can, and that is through going to the gym. Like, this isn't giving you muscles, right? It's not like you take Ozempic, you lose weight, and it gives you six pack. Like, it doesn't work like that. You still need to put in the work at the gym to do those types of things. And just kind of backpedaling. And I'm very scatterbrained when it comes to this, because I don't want to say I'm walking on eggshells, but like, I don't necessarily want to insult anyone, because like, at the end of the day, I don't want to say I don't really care, but like, it's your decision, and I'm going to support you in whatever you decide to do. So if you're a client that is on this and hasn't really shared it with us, like, don't worry about it. It's all good. We are still friends, and we support you in that. The big reason I wanted to bring it up is I don't know if I've just like been living under this Canadian rock where I didn't think it was overly popular in Canada, but I didn't. I thought this was more of like, this is what's going on in the States. All the Hollywood celebs are talking about it, but I didn't necessarily think it made its way here to Canada. And obviously I'm wrong, because I'm seeing ads for it everywhere. I was in Masonville Mall yesterday at Lululemon. Shout out Lululemon. And on like the digital billboards that they have in the mall, I saw a few with like some Ozempic ads. I saw it somewhere else. I don't know where it was. I never watched TV, but I watched, I don't know if it was CBC or something the other day, and like, of course, an Ozempic ad popped up. So it really is everywhere. And as I mentioned, I have clients that are on it, clients that have been on it, clients that are thinking of going on it. So, I think it's just important to sort of bring the conversation to light and just talk about some other bits of how it kind of works. So at the end of the day, you don't just take Ozempic and it's like, boom, you take it once a week and all of a sudden the weight starts pouring off of your body. The way it works, and I have just some information popped up in front of me so I don't misquote, but taking Ozempic mimics a naturally occurring hormone in your body, GLP-1. As those hormone levels rise, the molecules go to your brain telling you that you're full. It also slows down digestion by increasing the time it takes the food to leave the body. So, we talk about this all the time, but if you're looking to lose weight, we know that you need to be in a caloric deficit. Like, that is what it comes down to. I understand there's some other things that may come into play, but if we're looking for the biggest contributor, it is being in a caloric deficit. So what Ozempic is helping you do is be in a caloric deficit, because it's telling your brain that you are full, which means you're not going to eat as much food, which means you're going to be in a caloric deficit, most likely. So that's the first thing, okay? The other thing is, if individuals get off Ozempic, that signal stops being sent to your brain. So it's not uncommon that if you didn't put in the work to make some of these lifestyle changes, you will gain weight when you get off Ozempic. Okay. That is why it is very important that you don't just solely take this drug to lose weight, but you're doing it in conjunction with a full lifestyle change. Okay. So use this as like the starting point of, all right, I'm going to figure out some of my triggers, right? Like, why do I always have 7 tablespoons of peanut butter before I go to bed? Speaking about myself, right? Not just relying solely on the drug. So put in the work to figure out some of these other lifestyle changes. Make sure you're still eating healthy as well, because things to be mindful of is if you aren't going to be as hungry when you are hungry, or the meals that you do eat, really focus on trying to make them balanced. Make sure you get a ton of vegetables. Make sure you're getting some carbohydrates. And what we're going to talk about next is really ensure that you are still having enough protein in your diet. Protein, we know, is going to be that macronutrient that's going to help you build muscle. It's going to help you recover more appropriately as well. So don't skimp out on the protein consumption either. Just like anecdotally looking at some of the results from my clients that have been on Ozempic, obviously we see a pretty big decrease in weight. And with a decrease in weight, we also see a pretty big decrease in skeletal muscle mass. Now, that's not uncommon, even for people that aren't on Ozempic. Like if we see someone that gets or has a pretty crazy weight loss transformation, we know they're most likely going to see some skeletal muscle mass be lost as well. However, we want to ensure we're still putting in the work to make sure that it's not like a crazy decline. We kind of want it to flatten out at one point. So ways to do that, ways to make sure we're keeping that skeletal muscle mass high or growing, is to ensure that we're doing strength training, right? Doing the squats, doing the deadlifts, doing the presses, doing some body work, weight stuff is good as well. But once again, we want to challenge our body. So doing strength training, I'm sorry, but there's no drug for that one yet. And then the other big one is protein consumption. So making sure that you are eating enough protein to build muscle, right? Eat the protein, eat the carbs. We don't want to be completely afraid of those things. So that is another really, really important portion to focus on. And then we talk about this as well, but like, don't just focus on the macros. Don't think just, protein, fats, carbs, but we also want to be focusing on some of those micronutrients as well. And this is where it comes to like eating a wide variety of different styles of food. We want to keep that gut microbiome fairly healthy as well. When it comes to long-term consequences of things like Ozempic, I don't think or know if there is enough data out there yet. So that is something that, over the next few years, maybe we're going to start to discover some longer term consequences. I don't know. That is why it won't necessarily be the first thing that I would recommend to somebody. I always would prefer people to do it through, a nutrition lifestyle change and a proper fitness program. But like, once again, I understand that might not be the case for everybody. And I do think that this has a place in the market for some individuals. So yes, I'm going to end it here. I don't have like a fancy, cool way of ending this conversation other than to say, at the end of the day, it's like, regardless of if you're going to take it or thinking of taking it or are taking it, you still need to put in the work, right? You still need to come to the gym. You still need to lift the weights. You still need to take care of your heart health as well, right? Going for walks, going for some runs, doing some spin classes, and you still need to make sure that you're eating healthy, balanced meals throughout the day as well. So if you have any questions, thoughts, concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask. And if not, I hope you guys have the best day ever. Bye for now.